Major fighting game tourneys and esports endeavors like EVO usually have side games going on. Case in point, Puyo Puyo Tetris and Catherine. The former is a puzzle game with a huge emphasis on chains, while the latter is a friggin' story-based game that happens to have a 2-player block-pushing competitive mode. Seems you can make competitive games out of anything as long as it's good and there's a community behind it that champions it. And if there's some nostalgic value and know-how to it, all the better. But what about 2D shooters? Most of them are single-player or co-op, so there's really no competitive element to them, right? Well, what if I told you that there's a 2D shmup competitive game where 2 players battle in the most unconventional yet logical way? The one game that may be facing a Western resurgence? Enter Twinkle Star Sprites. Made in 1996 by ADK under SNK, this 2D shmup combines the competitive puzzle nature of the aforementioned Puyo Puyo games and the twitchiness of a top-down shooter. I'm going to tell you how to play this game, about its roster, and why it's
esports worthy.
And I will tell you why this game deserves a second competitive level chance in the mainstream spotlight. But first, I just need you guys to like this video and subscribe by pressing the subscribe button and then pressing the bell icon to get notified about sweet videos like this. On with the show! First up, don't look at the in-game tutorial because it's English mumbo-jumbo, though do read it for a laugh and a half. Like a competitive puzzle game, Twinkle Star Sprites' screen is split to 2. Player 1 on the left, player 2 on the right. If your opponent's life reaches 0, they die and you win. Best 2 out of 3. You can't directly fire at each other, but you attack indirectly by shooting the lesser enemies, i.e. the fat birds and whatnot, that come down your way. Speaking of which, enemies always fly into the screen in various formations. There are 30 plus formations to keep track of, but you only need to remember a fraction of it to start getting competitive. See, you can't just fire blindly and kill all of them with irregular and charged shots. You need to shoot the red ones, or the big red one, in a tight formation so that they explode and kill all enemies in a chain. Chaining them will cause an explosion and a combo. You want to get a high combo count because that's what sends fireballs down to your opponent's screen. This is how you attack your opponents. The higher the combo and chain, the more fireballs you throw with various speeds. As you and your opponent throw fireballs, you'll have blue flashing fireballs coming down your screen. If you shoot them or catch them in the chain explosion, you'll fire extra attacks at your opponent's screen. Unlike fireballs, extra attacks cannot be destroyed, which means you or your opponent will need to dodge and evade them. Extra attacks come in various flavors and projectile flight trajectories, depending on the 90s anime trope you pick. They can appear from the back, fly in an awkward angle, and semi-track your last known position. This, along with the fireballs, are your main methods of KOing your opponent. And if you chain 3 or more blue flashing fireballs or use a super meter, you summon a boss who is guaranteed to F up your opponent some more. Basically, your main tactic is to send over enough shit to fill up your opponent's screen so that he or she can't possibly dodge everything. Your opponent will of course do the same to you. So it's a battle of wits and skills and shmup reflexes to see who can outlast the other. Oh, and if everyone's still alive after 100 in-game seconds, death pops up and will one-hit KO you if you touch it. Of course, like other 2D shmups, you also have power-ups on your side. The Fever Orb that flies down to your side of the screen. If it's caught in your chain explosion, you double your subsequent fireball tossing count, which equals a ton more anarchy. And there's your Smart Bomb that clears the screen of enemies and grants you invincibility for a few seconds. There's a slight delay, so activate it if you see a fireball or extra attack coming a few paces away, not pixel close to you. Got all that? Let's recap. Combo chains and explosions? Good. Shoot blue flashing fireballs to generate extra attacks? Good. Keep track of your character's hurt box so you can dodge masterfully? Very good. Combo chain at the right time to counterattack oncoming fireball onslaught in hopes to summon more stuff on your opponent's screen? Super effective. Death pops up frequently in your matches? Your opponent's pretty good, so watch out. As I mentioned earlier, TSS's roster consists of magical girl archetypes from the 90s. The magical girl who rides a broom who can go Super Saiyan, the eternal rival, the one-sided love interest who gets comically kicked around, the perverted cat sensei, the evil twin, furries, and your mom, who isn't tournament legal, but is probably legal compared to the majority of the cats if you get my drift. There's also a story somewhere where each of the competitors are duking it out to reach the title character, Twinkle Star, to grant them one wish. It's played for laughs and isn't meant to be taken seriously. The character single player mode is a good way to learn the ins and outs of each playable anime character. For example, our heroine, Lode Ran, is your quote-unquote Ryu of the series. Good speed, good shots, great charge shots, great extra attacks that can catch opponents off guard from behind. She's a great all-rounder. So is her evil twin because she's literally the same character. Her rival, Really Till, is super fast and has big, thick dragons that go straight down and turn left or right at random intervals. Her charge shot lacks range, but multi-hits for better enemy explosion causing. You got these twin fairies who can charge and fire a shot in any of the 8 directions, and throw extra shots that can bounce diagonally once. And you've got this little girl who rides on a pig, has a white charge shot, and throws extra attacks that fly in a zigzag wave motion. Bloody annoying to fight against. Each of the 11 characters have your pros and cons, from your all-rounders to your specialists like the boss-killing perfect cat, to the top tiers like these furry f***s. Just test out each of them, find your groove, and play away. Because it's fun. Super fun. If you're a competitive player who likes fighting games mixed with puzzle games mixed with shmups, Twinkle Star Sprites is worthy of your time. The graphics and music are cheery and upbeat. Everything here fits the whole 90s anime parody theme it's going for. It's a very family-friendly game tailor-made for the public to watch. Kinda. Though it might not be for everybody. But don't let that deter you from what truly is a competitive game. There are so many strategies to consider and apply when you're flying on your broom or crayon. You have to figure out how every extra attack works, and how to dodge them on the fly. Yes, even the f***ing pigs. You also need to study the enemy flight patterns to maximize your chain explosions. Hell, you need to figure out how each character's bosses play. Not only do you need to learn how to be offensive, but also defensive with the dodging and not getting trapped in your inner corner. Just like a really good versus game. True, there are some random dirty shenanigans here and there that defy even the game's set of rules. But the same can be said for every major fighting game entry out there. Remember Taiwan's Street Fighter Pro Gamer B? The guy who dominated the Street Fighter 4 scene with Adon? One of his favorite games in the arcades is, surprise surprise, Twinkle Star Sprites. Just thought I'd throw it out there. If you want to play it now, use Fightcade. As much as I'd really want to support the PC version on Steam, it's a pretty bad port. Use Fightcade instead, because everyone who's playing it on a casual and high level are doing the same too. You can schedule and plan matches on the TSS Discord channel. They're all friendly folks, and they also have links to guides and strats, which I'll definitely touch on in the near future. Whether in the West or East Coast, France, Asia, or wherever, online play is just a Fightcade away. And with that, I'd like to implore everyone here to start giving TSS a shot. It's definitely heavy on the saturin, but underneath all of that is a fierce and competitive versus game that combines the best of puzzles, fighting, and top-down old-school shooting. If an old game like Windjammers is getting a sequel, why not TSS? Thanks again for tuning in to this video about a possibly obscure versus title that I can hopefully make more videos out of. Maybe touching on the high-level stuff. If you like this video, check out our other content about video game music and features about non-binary fighting game characters. Just make sure to click on that subscribe button and also that notification bell icon thing to keep updated with all things Kakuchopurei. See you next time!